Hi everybody, and welcome to this new video tutorial for as regard my way to analyze the Forex market without the use of an indicator, but rather using my own expert advisor, which analyzes simultaneously multiple currency pairs, receiving as a final report the flow of the currencies for the day. As usual, I injected some trades today, and at this moment we are having this situation. In a while I will go through these elements as usual, just to give a brief report and also to share some values in a way that can be usable for your analysis. You decide yourself how to trade, but I think that I already explained quite extensively in my previous videos in regards to how to analyze and read the charts, at least what is my approach to Forex once I decided not to follow anymore any kind of indicator or automated expert advisor. The analysis comes through the reading of multiple charts simultaneously, in real at least 28 currency pairs on different time frames, and these are the results. So as usual, I'll show you also this actual report of this account for example purposes as usual, on which I made some trades already, taking some profit, which were the very first one as I started very early to place my orders, but then having a confirmation of the trend, I decided to load a bit the charge of the trades, as I was pretty sure with a very high probability that my analysis was correct for this day. These are trades actually running at this moment. Let's do also a brief detailed report. So now we have the actual situation at this moment. So okay, so as you can see, we have 2,780 and something, which is 1,790 here. And these are the transactions that I decided to take profit, and these are the transactions already still running, and at this moment I have taken this profit from 19 trades. Okay, in regards to the analysis, I decided to trade today. This is the first week of January 2018, and is Thursday, and we come from a ranging situation of certain currency pairs and a trending situation of some others. Briefly, I took some trades in this area that I kept, and I'm about, of course, to close at the end to show the final report as usual. On GBP Australian dollar, which we see here on a 5-minute charts, was a ranging situation between the three main sessions of the markets, and these are actually the two trades realizing about 100 pips. Sorry, yes, 62 pips here, 54, something like that, 110 pips. Then the GBP New Zealand dollar, which was instead New Zealand dollar, was quite strong today, and therefore taking the trade more or less in the same area of time on the overlapping of the American session with the London session, and then therefore New Zealand dollar was strong against dollar. So we may see that in this area I took also New Zealand dollar, US dollar in buy in this case, and also was a bit captured by yen, which I decided to take a trade. Let's put on 5 minutes charts, so in this area, and of course there are some elements of my algorithm that are coming out on specific time, and not all the times occur, but it depends on the market. So in this area, and taking this profit, and also New Zealand dollar, which was strong against US dollar, was also strong against the weakest currency, at least for today, which was yen. And of course there are always possible retracements that we can assist. So the important thing is that we the moment we understand what are the most weak and strong currencies, as you can see, Aussie and New Zealand dollar were quite strong. It was a kind of splitting situation. This is the monthly view, okay? Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar appear to be strong for today. Yen very weak, US dollar very weak compared to euro that I prefer not to touch. Swiss franc I decided not to touch, and GBP very neutral, but in somehow negative, somehow in a phase of ranging mode, which combined with Australian dollar, with New Zealand dollar, with yen, and Aussie and New Zealand dollar with yen and US dollar, I could have injected some trades that made sense together. In fact, as you may see, I went long on Aussie yen. Aussie was in buy and yen was in sell, and GBP was to be short, and Aussie long again, and also New Zealand dollar long again, and New Zealand dollar long again, buy and a buy here against US dollar and Japanese yen. And these are the points realized, or pips, you divide by 10, it's up to you, it's the same condition. Of course, here we are analyzing a monthly time frame, also for your help, and of course I always invite you to make a comparison with your MetaTrader platform and with your broker. I use my specific broker on which I designed this algorithm, and that works the best in my opinion. This is also the weekly situation, and we see that even in the weekly situation we got Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar with the same values. Of course, it's the first week and it's the first month, so they collide together, they are the same. For as regard the daily situation, we have a GBP negative, Aussie somehow positive, but we are looking at the day situation at this moment. New Zealand dollar very strong, Japanese yen again very weak, and US dollar weak. Okay, so based on these values that you can pause the video for a second and then somehow make your assumptions on the trades, these are the results that if we go and take in the deposit currencies are these elements that now I am about to trade. So recapping a moment, New Zealand dollar was taken in this area, New Zealand dollar against yen in buy, and so these were the pips accordingly to also this representation of profit. And I'm doing this also working and enhancing because I got new ideas and new formulas that are represented also by this little arrow that now appears in my algorithm and suggests the possible probability of movement of the specific currency pair. And as well, I enhanced also the channeling that is composing while the price action is moving. Aussie yen, this was the result, and now we're seeing a kind of decay of the channeling, so we better be careful about possible other retracement, even if the situation now is almost the end of the markets. And I always suggest a day trading, and every day try to understand what are the currencies that are going to move. Okay, then we have New Zealand dollar, US dollar in buy as well, and that was the result. And GBP New Zealand dollar in sell, I got 2 positions left, and GBP Australian dollar in sell, of course, in a very nice point of attachment. Of course, there is no swap, so all trades made today. And so let's do the final statement for today. Only 3 statements, but it's quite enough because I also want to give some answers. And this is the very nice curve that has been obtained with these trades and this profit, okay, as usual. And that can be given, of course I overtraded a bit, but the moment I was having confirmation that my trades were in the right direction, I decided to take multiple positions in order to enhance the effectiveness of my trade. And this is a personal way to approach the trade, so everyone has its own way, more conservative, more aggressive. This depends on you. The only important thing is that markets are read in a proper way. Okay, some words about, okay, so this is the final balance, as you can see, 14,383.24, 14,383.24. Okay, and these are the trades that I have executed. Okay, so I said I was almost finished with my graphical module, that can be probably implemented also for other instruments, financial instruments, but at the moment it's only available, and in this case I am replying to some questions I got via email, so bear with me for those who have made these questions. At this moment is available only for the Forex market. Some of you were asking me about if there are any PDFs or books that I can suggest to read, or if I created any PDF or book to explain this. I don't have time for this because I am working on my algorithm almost every day and enhancing this graphical module with formulas that are then creating the lines. Okay, so what we normally do by, for example, doing this, even if we think we are painting, in real we are making graphical representation of a mathematical formula. Okay, so this is very obvious that in order to create this kind of zigzagging and other stuff that you may see even if you don't understand what it's about, but the more an algorithm is used, the more reveals itself. What can I suggest to read? I wonder how many of you are passing the majority of their time by reading the charts. This is the real book you all must read if you want to have some information about Forex. There is a lot of bullshit out there. I'm not saying that I am the perfect person which gives the magic formula. There is no magic formula at all. There is only an interpretation that can have a variation from person to person, but indeed I can surely tell you that the book I read every day and trying to decipher what the book is telling is the charts itself, the price action, the volumes that suggest me some kind of activity, and the currencies taken as a single unit. Some of you were also asking if they can have this algorithm and giving me as a support, pay me in Bitcoin. So a few words about Bitcoin. Bitcoin for me is exactly nothing. It's bullshit. Okay, let me grab, I don't know if you see this. This is a euro coin, and this is something tangible, physical. Okay, you can touch it. So what is Bitcoin? It's a digit. Even euro, CAD, Swiss franc, and so on, those are digits in the actual electronic markets, but they have a counterpart almost close to a commodity. In fact, when I'm trading or analyzing the markets, this is the suggestion that I can give to you as well, and also that you can find in my previous videos and especially in the webinars. I tend to treat Forex and the currencies as commodity, as the commodity market. So like oil, sugar, it's only that the commodity is a currency that it's quoted in another currency. Like oil is quoted in dollars, or sugar is quoted in dollars or in euro, whatever. Even the base and the quote that we have in every currency pair, like USD CAD, USD is the base and CAD is the quote. AUD CAD, AUD is the base and CAD is the quote. USD and AUD can be perceived as commodities, and that are quoted in another currency. And the gain, the probability gain that we have to face every day is to win the challenge to analyze which currencies for that day are the strongest and the weakest, so that reasoning in a speculative way, by having something very strong against something very weak, or vice versa, we can have enough profit or pips that are translated then in profit. So for me, the questions about Bitcoin, you can somehow ask to someone else, because I'm not very skilled on that, and I refuse totally the idea of all the cryptocurrencies that are even more manipulated than the Forex market, which is a semi-regulated market, so already with sometimes tough manipulations by institutions and central banks, but that on the other hand, has shown as a physical counterpart that makes it somehow tangible and with probability predictable. Another thing is cryptocurrencies, or this virtual assets that, to me, probably because I belong to a different era, make no sense and give even more confusion, even because I can somehow make a correlation between the currency pairs, because each currency is related to another, is expressed in another currency, so there is a interrelation, correlation, and in this case, to me, is fair enough to proceed with an analysis. But this kind of approach fails the moment we are discussing about cryptocurrencies. So for me, when you want to speak about Bitcoin, as well, when you want to speak about any other cryptocurrency, I'm not the person for that topic. Okay, I'm sorry, but already Forex market is a very huge element. Then sometimes it's more easy to read, other times it's more difficult, depending on the way we approach to that. But really, if you really want to have a better vision of the thing, what I suggest you to read is to read the charts. Every day, every chart that it's possible. Okay, in this case, I just selected 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 charts on which I decided to differentiate my risk trading multiple assets coherently. So if I think that New Zealand dollar is strong, Japanese yen is weak, and GBP and GBP is weak, of course there has to be a coherency that I buy when New Zealand dollar is base and I sell when New Zealand dollar is quote. Of course, Japanese yen is always quote, so in this case I buy, but at the same time GBP is weak and Aussie is strong, so GBP is base, I sell, and Aussie is strong, I buy. Okay, so this kind of approach day by day maybe can be not very familiar at the beginning, but we must consider the currencies like giving and taking something. Okay, we have to have another currency to trade with the currency that we are buying or selling. For this reason, and the fact that they are the part of a whole big number altogether, this is the way I do approach to this analysis. And no other, even commodities or indexes for me are a topic that at this moment I'm not about to touch at all, or to give any kind of suggestions of approach. Anyway, the graphical module is almost finished. I'm taking some extra time to refine some formulas and experiment their coherency through time and understand what is the best time frame to apply them, as even if some of them are applied on a daily time frame. And I always suggest you to have a whole vision of at least the day, if not the week, and even the month is good to know for sometimes swing trading of a couple of days, other times for having more confirmation of the trade, of an intraday trading of some hours. There are also some elements that I have just implemented, like this line, this one and this one, which are related to the previous day activity of the price action. And as you may notice, in this case, the moment the price broke this level, there was a retracement and a kind of really resistance area that confirmed that I was right to sell GBP and buy New Zealand dollar, as well as, for example, this other situation. Let me see if it's this one the case. Yes, as you may notice, we have also here, let me see if you can see that clearly. Okay, this line, which was the same as in the GBP here. Okay, we have this brown line and this blue line, and here again we have this brown line and this blue line, these two. These are coming from a previous day activity and are not the high and the low. If you see, the high and the low of the previous day are something else, but it's always made by calculation. And even in this case, the price found support on this area, and by the fact that was rejected above this line, suggested me a coherence with these values in regards of trading, because sometimes we have very huge values. Let's bring the monthly, like for example, I don't know, in this case, let's say the minimum value is Japanese yen. Okay, but how can I tell if this is the minimum value reached or if this value is about to continue to decrease? This we don't know, because every day and every week there are different values. Values are not the same. This is why Forex is quite complex to trade. But the fact that some levels are broken, like in this case, see here, same example in this case on the New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen, we have this blue line. Let me just do it a bit bigger. Okay, I have this blue line and this brown line, orange line, calculated from the day before, and the price went up, then a bit rejected but stayed in this area, then rejected but arrived to this threshold, and then bumped up again, breaking this area. So I got a confirmation that New Zealand dollar and Japanese yen were confirmed in their daily New Zealand dollar and Japanese yen values of plus 500 and minus 400 in this case. So, and even in the weekly, plus 300 and minus almost 400. So by reading the chart, the first act, the previous act, is to read and give an interpretation to the currencies themselves, the 8 components of the major 28 currency pairs or crosses that we can trade. So this is the first step. Then from this step we take out the strongest and the weakest currency or currencies. It depends. That can be just one for strong and one for weak, or 2 for strong and 2 for weak. It depends on the assets of the day. Once we had analyzed and taken the currency pairs that are the result of the crossing of these currencies, and sometimes we have the base and the quote, we apply the same algorithm which provide us in the time frame that we are observing the values of the currencies themselves, that are, no matter the chart and the symbol that we're using, they are always related to a market view. And then we go, and this is why it's important also to have a graphical vision of the markets and see also how the price behaved in proximity of the overlapping of the major market sessions, and and see the development. This is fundamental information inside a technical analysis. And believe me, for me, I'm not a fundamental analyst, but for me it's very fundamental to when markets overlap and give some kind of signal that can be confirmed. Okay, so what else to say? By doing this kind of activity, the result of today was this graphic, totally in profit, and you may, as usual, make your considerations about all these elements that are giving you a better insight of how the trades developed. So for today it's all. I thank you for watching and always for subscribing and supporting my channel, and your questions and your contacts. And while hoping to produce another video based also on some of the questions that you are providing me almost daily, I wish you a very good time and space and a very good trade activity. Okay.